back, everybody. Today I'm going to be breaking down and reviewing the 12th game of the Spyro franchise, The Legend of Spyro Eternal Night. This game was created in 2007 and was developed by Chrome Studios and published by Vivendi Universal Games. This particular game was created for the PS2, the Wii, Game Boy Advance, and the DS. In this video, though, we're going to be reviewing the PS2 version. This is the sequel to The Legend of Spyro A New Beginning, and the second game since the reboot. The storyline continues to follow Spyro after rescuing Cinder and preparing for the Dark Master's return. There are over 50 different collectibles in this game, 40 enchanted scribers, quills, and 10 different dragon relics that can increase your magic and health. To keep this video rolling and focusing more on the story and plot, I won't be touching these. I will probably make a video in the near future showing the locations for each though. We start the game with Spyro waking up at the temple. Sparks begins to fill Spyro in that today's the best day ever, because Cinder is finally leaving. After A New Beginning, Spyro actually loses all of his powers, so at this point, Spyro is powerless. We walk by all the dragons just casually sleeping and cruise through the garden, fighting some weaker enemies along the way. We then reach Cinder, who tells Spyro that she is leaving and that she does not belong here, and proceeds to run off. As she is running away, Spyro then collapses into slumber and wakes up in a foreign area. Confused and frightened, Spyro screams, "Make it stop." As he does, time begins to move very slowly. This allows him to travel through this place much easier and moving across platforms that are typically too fast for travel. Speaking to him is this random voice, explaining to him that he has ability and mastering it will help him see things before it happens in regards to the time slowing down. We then reach this space as bright orange. Stepping on it reawakens Spyro fire abilities. The next bit is just a bit more of a tutorial teaching you how to use the same moves and abilities from A New Beginning. We find ourselves awake back at the garden. We are awoken to the Dark Armies beginning their assault on the temple. We start the game off by battling it out with the Dark Army. This time they have the ability to freeze you, which you can easily escape the ice by wiggling the left stick or breathing your fire. After defeating them and activating all the switches, you can proceed through the door. After advancing, doing more of the same, we run into the spiders. These can be defeated like normal enemies. You just have to ground pound them after to prevent them from coming back. After activating more switches, we are greeted by a snail rider who can be pretty annoying. As long as you flame them, the snail will retreat to his shell, leaving the rider vulnerable. After making it closer to the temple, we are ambushed by more of the Dark Army. Not as much per fight as last time, thankfully. We then find an area where we can ground pound, which takes us into an area with multiple spiders. Defeating them will give you the opportunity to keep pushing forward. Nothing really crazy happens for a while, just countless battles. We fast forward to returning to the temple to find Ignitus throwing hands with multiple members of the Dark Army. He is much stronger at this point than he was last game. He easily takes care of them, but as we make our way down, he is trapped behind the rubble. We then take on more than enough of them to finally hit the cutscene where we meet the assassin. You have to time your fireballs to hit him and make sure to dodge his attacks. I really struggled initially on this one. Eventually I figured it out and took care of him though. We then meet back with all of the OG dragons, and Ignitus tells us that he sees a tree and that we need to head that way. Spyro mentions he has seen that tree in his dreams, and Ignitus begins to explain to us about the Chronicler. They direct us to the ancient groove and sends us on our way. Sadly, unlike last game, they don't let you fly there, one of the coolest additions to the series, and it's just scrapped just like that. After arriving, we are quickly met by enemies. One of my favorite parts about this level is the pink waters. It adds to the spookiness of the ancient grove. We fast forward to our first cutscene here. Sparks and Spyro are casually strolling, and Sparks ends up devouring a butterfly. And off in the distance, they see some pirates who are searching for a bounty on Arvik. Just as Sparks says something, Spyro collapses. Sparks tried to remain quiet, but that butterfly did not sit well for him. Sparks begins to run while the camera fades to Spyro waking up in this unknown land again. This time the platform is more of an icy color, and it restores Spyro's abilities to use ice attacks. We do more of the same, just learning how to use all the different combos and abilities. This time the unknown voice gives us more answers about the evils. When Spyro wakes back up, we have Sparks returning and bringing the pirates over. After defeating them, you can use your newly acquired ice abilities to make icy platforms over the waters so you can advance through. After advancing through, we get a cutscene of a giant pirate ship and a bunch of pirates jumping out for battle. After a long and gruesome battle, you can jump on the ship and use their cannon. By firing a cannonball at the structure ahead, you can continue your journey. We then get our rematch with the assassin. Thankfully, it's the same structured fight, so it shouldn't be as bad as the first time. After defeating him again, we get one of the coolest scenes in Spyro, in my opinion. You're jumping from giant jellyfish to giant jellyfish in an area with giant trees, and you're just making your way through. Graphically, it was just super sweet to me. Inside one of the huts, you find a new enemy, not super strong, just built like a tank. After defeating them, you're taken to the next portion of the area. You continue pushing through the jellyfish. After making it back to the mainland, you just run into countless different enemies while you advance forward. We then run into the tree. Just as you take in its glory, it begins to stand up and actually turns into our first boss. This was by far the most neat boss fight to date in my opinion. You have to use the same mechanics and movement that you do against the assassin and time your attacks to hit each part of the body to hope you can get everything on fire. The second round you are more at his level and able to land blows instead of having to be more accurate. For the third round, he actually climbs up on the ledge and tries to stomp on you. Pretty easy to dodge and you just aim for the feet. After defeating him, he falls backwards into the water and goes off the waterfall. We then get captured by the pirates. While being locked up, we casually see Molaire, a character from the last game, just strolling around and explains to us we're about to be used to fight against the other prisoners in an arena-style match. After making it out to fight, our first opponent is Blundertails. I really hate to admit how many attempts this actually took me to defeat him. Once you use your time abilities, you can easily defeat them, but at this point I never really used that in combat, so it took me a while to try to even think about using it. After defeating them, we are taken back to the unknown area. This time Spyro reawakens his ability to use his earth attacks. After doing the same tutorials and learning the combos, the unknown voice speaks about the Night of Eternal Darkness. We then wake up in the prison cell and we start our next fight against Ravage Rider. If you played the last game, this is the same fight basically as the last boss fight in A New Beginning. Just like the conductor, you just wait until it runs into the walls and then you can easily defeat him. After defeating him, Molaire returns with a message, basically reminding Spyro he has allies here. Originally thinking this was from Cinder, it is signed by Hunter of Avalar, which really blew my mind. I had no idea he was going to be included in the reboot series. We then match up against the Executioner, who also gave me a hard run of it. You wait until he strikes and his shield is in the air, then you have the opportunity to freeze time and get your hits in. The next opponent is actually Cinder, but she is not an enemy. Right before they can think of a way out, there is a giant explosion. The Dark Army rushes in and captures Cinder, giving Spyro enough time to make his way out. In this segment, you're just constantly fighting against the pirates trying to make it out. We run back into Molaire, who pleads for help to help save his people. Spyro then pushes through, and by pushing all the crates forward, it'll cause their cell to blow up and make it where they can escape. After pressing forward again, we are on the pirate ship fighting even more of the pirates, which ends up being quite the battle. Probably the longest fight so far in this game. We then ride up to the next ship and begin another long battle. After defeating the pirates, a box blows open with 2 Blundertails in there. Now that you know how to handle them, they don't seem as tough. We then jump down and find a map. Right about that time is when Scab jumps down and begins his battle. Basically with Scab, you dodge his attacks until he shoots out a cable. Then you can freeze time and begin to fight him. The second round, his cannon will malfunction after firing a ton at you. This will give you a time to step in and finish the job. Before you can actually finish the job though, he flies away and escapes. This then takes us to our next area, Pirate Fleet, which is just straight action throughout. I'm going to try to highlight the big scenes here, since it's mostly just jumping ship to ship and fighting. Each of the ships you go on is just slam-packed with pirates coming at you. Like I said, in this area there's more combat than any part of the game, but sometimes that gets very repetitive, which was a huge reason I was so low on the last game. We are flying in a ship and we get shot down and slammed into one of the pirate ships. Inside we run into another Blundertail, but like I said earlier, they're not as strong at this point. Once you can get to the top of the ship, you're ambushed from countless waves of pirates again. After advancing and heading to another ship, he's beginning to get shot out. So there are multiple platformers falling to the ground and multiple enemies charging in at you. After making it out, it sets the stage for a rematch with Scab. This time he sends out a lot of pirates at you, so not only dodging Scab here, but you're also trying to fight the pirates as well. This time he has a new charge-up attack that sends ripples of energy towards you. You can easily dodge these by just flying up. He has a cool-off time that then you can just attack him. After defeating him, he ironically falls off the plank into the ocean. The 2 birds begin to talk crap when Sparks just smacks him silly. The other one actually gets away though. While flying towards our next area, Spyro begins to fall asleep and collapses into the water. This time we are met by a yellow platform which restores his ability to use his electric breath. Once again, you're doing the same type of stuff in terms of learning the different attacks and combos you use. We then take a glimpse of Cinder being taken to Gaul, and you listen to Gaul talk about the revival of the Dark Master. We then arrive to the White Isle. You start going through caves that symbolize each of the different elements you have: fire, ice, electric, and earth. We then run into a wide open area with the same enemies from the unknown area. We then continue to push forward, and we run into an area with the voice echoing: "Prove your worth with quick desire, ice and earth, electric fire." These new enemies with orbs and spider legs appear. You can defeat them rather easily, but you can then take their orb into the placeholders by using your abilities on each they activate. Doing all four will activate the door to open. We then enter the Celestial Caves, each cave representing a different element. Starting with the Fire Cave, you quickly find out that fire is the only ability you'll be able to use here. The enemies here are basically just fire giants. Not super hard to defeat them, thankfully. You then fly upon rotating platforms and candles. By flaming the candles, you can flip over the platform so you can advance through. The soundtrack this whole time is absolute peak. Best in the series so far. There's little orb insects you have to smash throughout these caves to advance to the next spot. After doing so, you get a meeting with the fire spirit. These guys aren't hard to beat. Just have to smash his shield and you can start lowering his health with ease. We then head to the ice caves, and this is by far the most annoying one for me. You have to jump down after defeating the ice enemies and use your ice breath to make platforms to travel, and for some reason my game fully could not render the ice and I just kept dying. After dealing with that and advancing through, we meet the ice spirit, who fights just like the fire spirit, so after fighting him it should be much easier. We then follow the same process with the earth cave. There's no fancy platforms or difficult portions of this cave, just more of a straight up combat area. After going in and defeating the earth spirit, we are left with the last cave, which is the electric cave. You do have to use your electric breath here to shoot at targets to activate platforms to give you a chance to cross the water. After doing that and fighting a few enemies, we get our matchup against the electric spirit. Once we defeat him and head back to the main area, that same voice asks Spyro to expose his heart after walking on the platform. We then meet the elemental dragon, which is such a unique design. You can only use whatever attack the color is of the dragon. So, if it's green, only using your earth ability. I'm not sure if you consider this a boss fight or not. I did not in my playthrough videos, but now I kind of sort of consider it. But after you defeat it, the door opens to the library of the history of the dragon race. We then see that the whole time that voice was a chronicle. He lets us know that he has been there for over 1,000 years and explains to him about the Book of Time. He shows Spyro his book when he immediately wonders, well, what about Cinder's? Well, Cinder shows Gaul giving her to the Dark Master when he returns and showing Cinder rejoining his side. He finally explains what the Dark Master is: a purple dragon who can master fire, ice, and wind and other abilities. Once he became too powerful though and began to consume more and more, he was cast away into his mountain. He then attempts to convince Spyro to stay with him and live to fight another day. Spyro then decides that he will not, and he will go help Cinder. We then finally arrive at the mountain fortress where snow is falling bad. We enter the fortress and immediately we're met by a green beam. You can dodge this by using your time ability. Our first enemy we meet is someone who could disappear and become invisible. Slowing down time, you can see where he is though. After defeating him, tons of enemies start to appear. Just like the pirate fleet, it's a real common trend here. After defeating him and pressing forward, we are met by an ape who sends TNT towards you to try to slow you down. It almost feels like Donkey Kong. Freezing time will help you dodge these easily, and using your flame on the idle ones will blow up the remaining ones. After advancing forward, there's a waterfall of platforms coming down. Once again, I'm almost embarrassed how long this took me to figure out. After climbing in and advancing, we are in an area where they keep teleporting in one after another. This might be hand in hand with the Jak 2 city race for me for the most annoying aspect of a game. This took me way too long to defeat. After multiple attempts and almost breaking my controller, we are met by the assassin again for a final duel with him. After defeating him, this time he just falls straight down. So I'm assuming he's gone. We then have time going from platform to platform once again, and this time the soundtrack is killer. Please give it a listen sometime. We then end up in another open area filled with enemies. After another gauntlet, we are back to our next cutscene of just a big dragon statue, just like the one in the Dragon Temple, and a ton of candles leading to the top. This really got the suspense building for me. We then get to the top of the mountain to just see a purple energy being shot out from the top, and, Spyro then decides he wants to go in. This gives us our first interaction with Gaul. He immediately sends Spyro to his knees, Then Cinder attacks Spyro, but we learn that she's still on our side. She tries to go for Gaul's staff, but she is easily deflected and sent to the wall. This starts our duel with Gaul. This boss fight is one of the coolest ones yet. This game probably has the best boss fights, to be honest. In the beginning, you just want to dodge all of his attacks and wait for him to do his jump attack 5 times. After the 5th one, you can find him recharging and you can freeze time to get maximum hits in. After taking his health bar down, you and Gaul both get sent down to the bottom floor. His staff cracks, and during this time, Spyro's in the energy blast. He comes out as Dark Spyro. After being infused with dark energy, his attacks are much stronger. This part is much easier than the first part. As long as you can dodge his green beam, you should be fine. Getting hit by that, though, will send you off the map and making you restart the whole thing. After defeating him this round, you will use your peak attack just like you did last game to finish him off. We then see Dark Spyro come back to the top floor to meet Cinder and Sparks. We see Spyro struggling to deal with the dark energy, and Cinder proceeds to knock him out of it. At this point, everything is being destroyed and they try to make their escape. Unfortunately, they get trapped instead. Spyro then hears in his head, ride out the storm and live to fight another day. He proceeds to crystallize them using the time abilities, and then the game rolls to credits. We do get an end credit scene showing Hunter from Avalar. You then can defeat the dragon challenges and unlock Dark Spyro for your playthroughs. This was one of my more exciting games to play. Even though it didn't have a strong meta score, the storyline from the last game was setting this up to be quite the game. They fixed a lot of the issues from the last game in my opinion. The last game just felt like constant combat 24/7. This game, I feel like it just gave you a ton of combat, but also gave you a chance to really explore as well, which I thoroughly enjoyed. This game also had the best soundtrack so far, some of which was extremely calming and some of which was extremely sinister. I also want to brag about the boss fights in this one. Each one was extremely different, but extremely entertaining. I'm not sure I have much to say that's really bad about this game. My overall rating for this game would be a 9 out of 10. Nothing bad that I can really say about it. Good boss fights, the best soundtrack, and a pretty sick storyline. I'm really excited to see how they carry out the storyline for the next game, but the next game will be our final Spyro game. Be sure to check out our gameplay for the last game of the series, The Legend of Spyro: Dawn of the Dragon. If you made it this far, please consider leaving a comment on what you thought about this game and a sub if you enjoyed this type of content. It really helps in more ways than one. Thanks for the support and thanks for watching and have a great day.